Stacking all 3 attributes in Path of Exile is considered more of a gimmick, one that does work, but it's always treated as a meme since focusing on one gives you more damage. Well, on that note today, I decided to push the limit of an all attribute stacker to the extreme, with over 4,000 total attributes on a fully functional character. I'm talking something that can do all bosses, and it's surprisingly tanky. We have 50,000 evasion rating, over 12,000 energy shield, spell suppression, and high recovery, which consists of both decent energy shield regen and doubled leech. Finally, we have amazing shotgun clearing with lightning arrow combined with +1 chain corruption on our offhand. Alright, what are we waiting for then? Let's get this build guide started. We are a Templar ascended into an Inquisitor, and that's for a lot of reasons. The biggest one is Righteous Providence. This node is designed for our build in particular, granting us 50 to both strength and intelligence, and scaling our critical strike chance based on the lowest of the two. We have both sitting at over 1,400 each. That's 1,400 increased critical strike chance, which is insane. That's about more than enough to crit cap you by itself. Anyway, next we got the infamous Inevitable Judgment node. This one makes our critical strikes ignores enemy monster resistances. This is double damage against pinnacle bosses in particular. You can see the synergy with the previous node, which ends up being as good as 7 Watcher's Eye nodes by itself. Anyway, next we got Sanctuary. This node gives us consecrated ground while stationary. In addition, it causes enemies standing on it to take 15% increased damage. You are supposed to be hugging enemies to take full advantage of this, which perfectly fits our playstyle of choice. Finally, we got Pious Path. This node makes the effect of consecrated ground we create linger on us 4 seconds after we started moving. It's good for retaining its regeneration buff combined with Zealot's Oath. Anyway, that was it for our Ascendancy. Now let's take a look at our passive tree. This one focuses on strength, intelligence, and dexterity, that alongside their large respective wheels. We also have few aura nodes, crit multi, attack speed, bow nodes, and projectile crit chance and crit multi. Next we got one large cluster jewel that adds the minimum amount of passives and any generic attack notables. These must include at least one that grants life leech, so that we can leech from it using Ghost Reaver. Ideally one Drive the Destruction. We also have Heavy Hitter to go with it. Next, for mastery choices, we have 1% increased damage per 5 of our lowest attributes, 1% increased projectile damage per 16 dexterity, 5% increased attributes, 8% increased damage per aura or herald affecting us, 25% to critical strike multiplier against unique enemies, and chance to suppress spell damage is lucky. Alright, that was it for our passive tree. Now let's talk items. First we have Sakowal's Nest unique chest. We use this one for both its massive bonuses to all attributes and mana reservation efficiency. The rest of its stats do not matter as we are not even using Aspect of the Avian in this build. Next we have Cyclopean Coil. This build increases our attributes, then increases our global damage by 1% per 5 of our lowest we have. This is simply best in slot even without a corruption on it. Next we have Eyes of the Great Wolf unique talisman with the perfectly rolled increased attributes implicit on it. With it you would want to go with anything that you can have. I went with Regen because Regen is nice. This amulet can be expensive, but it's about just as good as a perfectly rolled Astromantis in terms of attributes. Hence, the only bonus you are getting from upgrading from an Astromantis to this one is the second implicit that you get with it. Anyway, don't forget to anoint your amulet with Utmost Might, as it's the last major attribute notable that we couldn't afford to manually allocate on the passive tree. Our next item is Widow Hail. This bow does nothing but increases our offhand quiver effect by 250%. Ideally, you want to get one with level 10 momentum support corruption. I don't have that, but you should try to get one as soon as you find it on the market. Now, what's the best quiver to go alongside this bow? Well, there is only one option. The Poised Prism. It adds a lot of damage of every damage type depending on all of your attributes. Now this quiver is nice, but it's kinda lame. Hence I decided to spice things up with this sick high-res demise with +1 chain and flat lightning damage corruption that I had laying around in standard. Now this bow is legacy, you can no longer have this, but it adds the same flat damage as the Poised Prism. you are only losing on the 30 attributes, but you are getting resistances in return, which is good if you need them. But generally speaking, the build is still fully functional even without this quiver, so don't worry. Anyway, next we have a pair of 2 corrupted Lihubovol rings with increased attributes on them. This ring grants all attributes, all resistances, and increased global damage. It's best in slot even without the corruption, as long as you have decent rolls on it. Alright, now since we have a lot of attributes, we can exploit Shaper's Touch unique gloves for maximum value. With it, strength now counts toward energy shield just like intelligence. Intelligence now counts toward increasing our evasion rating just like dexterity. It also increases our accuracy rating with intelligence, solving our hit chance issue. Well, what can I say? It's just perfect. Next we got a rare helm with as much attributes and energy shield as possible. You get something like this by spamming Essences of Rage on a Hubris Circlet that have 30% increased mana reservation efficiency to any of the 50% auras that we're using. Keep doing that until you hit tier 1 intelligence. Make sure you are doing this on a non-influenced helm so that you can add Eldritch implicits on it. One such implicit must be increased mana reservation efficiency, and the other one is reduced mana cost of attacks. Last but not least, we have a pair of generic energy shield boots that have movement speed, intelligence, and as much resistances as you can have. And that was it for our items. Now let's talk about gems that goes inside of them. For our main 6 link we have Lightning Arrow, Awakened Elemental Damage with attacks, Damage on full life, Anomalous Inspiration, Increased crit damage, and Trinity. Make sure to swap Trinity for Barrage support for these big bosses. Next, for our second 6 link, we have our auras. They are Haste, Purity of Elements, Grace, Discipline, Clarity, and level 4 Enlighten. Next we have a 4-link damage support setup. This one contains Sniper's Mark, Mark on Hit, Enhance, and Inspiration. Last but not least, we have an optional 4-link that contains few leftover gems. This one has Precision, Divergent Vitality, Dash, and Summon Lightning Golem. And that was it for our gems. Now let's talk about jewels. For our Watcher's Eye, we have percent of mana gained as extra maximum energy shield while affected by Clarity, and increased attack damage while affected by Precision. Aside from that, we have 1 Forbidden Flame and 1 Forbidden Flesh jewels. Both of these must mention Sanctuary of Thought Hierophant Ascendancy node. This one grants us 20% of our maximum mana as extra maximum energy shield, reduces our global mana cost by half, and improves our aura's mana reservation efficiency by 20%. Next we have 1 Lethal Pride Timeless Jewel. It doesn't matter which general's name is mentioned on it, as we mainly use it for the added bonuses it provides to nearby notables. Place it in this socket to maximize its effect. We are looking to get as many 5% increased strength bonuses on nearby notables with it. Aside from that, we are using 2 split personality jewels, each with 2 different attributes on it. You want to prioritize ones that increases your minimum attributes, as that will increase your damage along the way. But with that, we are done with our jewels. Anyway, now for Bandit quest, we are going to help Elira as usual. As for Pantheons, we got the Soul of Lunaris and the Soul of Tukuhama. And that was it for our all attribute stacker build for this league. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then consider leaving a like and maybe subscribe so you don't miss out on any future build guide like this one. My name is Phoenix and I will see you all in the next video.